I will read my poem to start with then.
Awesome.
Now is the time. When things move smoothly, now is the time to get things done. When things move with blocks or haltingly, now is the time to be still. Ease and flow, halt and wait. Now is the time.
That's beautiful.
Yes, so now we will smile. So let's take a nice deep breath in. Take a minute to find your sit bones. And, you know, it's okay to wiggle around a little bit and see if you can really feel where they are. And if you're feeling tight in your hips, take a blanket and sit on it, just to kind of give yourself a little help in balancing the pelvis. Bringing the hands down on your knees, turning them to open to receiving. Something that sometimes we're very good at getting and less open to receiving. So today is going to be about receiving the gifts that yoga has to offer. So take a nice deep breath in. Let it out with a sigh. Deep breath in. Out through the nose. And begin to find normal breath, inhaling and exhaling. With nowhere to go, nothing to do, just allowing the air to support us in the way that breath does. Breath is our life force, our chi. Allowing it to move in and out. No judgment. Only acceptance. Acceptance is sometimes the work. Accepting what is. So as you continue to breathe in and out, consider the idea of growing long in the crown, dropping out of the shoulders. And if there's little movements to help ease this lifting of the spine out of the pelvic floor, allow that to happen. Sometimes in our stuckness, if we just move a little bit, it opens a doorway for allowing. Bring that belly button back to the spine, lift it up, smile, soften the face. Sometimes smiling is about softening. And the other beautiful thing about smiling is it works the muscles in the face that helps keep the face soft and light. On the next inhale, we're going to inhale the hands up overhead and exhaling them down, doing just a few sun arms to just open up the shoulder joints, inhaling them up, exhaling them down, inhaling them up, exhaling them down. One more time, nice deep inhale, inhaling them up, and as we exhaling them down, turn to the right, inviting the first twist in. Only go halfway. Only go halfway. Take a deep inhale and grow long in the crown. Exhale, deepen the twist. Keeping that spine long, open. Nowhere to go. And now inhale long through the crown and exhale that chin over the shoulders. And notice what's happening in the neck. Our neck is a telltale sign of whether we're being flexible in our life. I am not. My neck is very stiff this morning. Take a nice deep inhale in through the crown. Exhale, bring your nose to the other shoulder. Keeping the twist, only moving the head. Nice deep inhale in long through the crown. Exhale the nose back to the left shoulder. So now we're inviting movement into the scaling muscles. What would it feel like If we lower down the shoulders, nice deep inhale up, exhale, look over that right shoulder. Inhale, long exhale back to center. Nice deep inhale, inhaling, releasing the hands, coming back up. Exhaling halfway the other direction. Hands come to the knees, to the floor, drop out of the shoulders. And then exhale, deepen it. Inhale, long. Exhale, deepen. Inhale, long. Exhale, deepen. Nice deep inhale. Look over that left shoulder. Or not. Smile. Smile at the not. Smile at the yes. Inhale, long in the crown. Exhale, look over that right shoulder. Smile at the yes. Smile at the no. Inhale, long through the crown. Exhale, look back over the other shoulder. Inhale, long through the crown. Exhale, back over that right shoulder. See if that can go a little bit lower. Farther. Drop the shoulder a little bit lower. Understand what I mean, not what I say. Oh, notice where you do begin to open. So I'm beginning to open between my shoulder blades. Inhale, long, look back over that left shoulder. Inhale, bring it back to center on the exhale. Inhale, the hands up overhead. Exhale, 3 sun arms. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Hands to our knees. Take a nice deep inhale. Bring it into cow. Exhale it back into cat. Really bring that chin into it. Begin to open the front of the body and inhale. Open that neck. Don't drop the head back. Just go long in the crown. Exhale, drop the chin to the shoulder. Inhale up. Exhale back. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale, growing nice and tall, dropping the shoulders down the back. Elbows come in close, bring the hands back. Just give yourself a minute to really feel those elbows work down to the floor. Draw those shoulders away from the ear. Yes, new sensation here. Now, inhale, tip the chin slightly and lengthen through the back of the neck. Now exhale and drop the chin to the chest while lowering the elbows to the floor. Inhale, drawing the neck up. Exhale, draw the elbows down, crown to the ceiling. 3 on sun arms, inhaling the hands up. Exhaling them down. Inhaling them up. Exhaling them down. Inhaling them up. Exhaling, dropping the left hand behind your head, taking a hold of that elbow, and invite an opening through the hollow back of the arm. Breathe into it. Invite that belly button back, lift up, and exhale towards the holding hand. So that's going to be towards the right. Won't be far, but it'll be enough that you'll get a deep openings down the side of the body. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling, inhaling the hands up. 3 sun arms. Notice the difference to the right side to the left side. Inhaling them up. Exhaling them down. Inhaling them up. Exhaling them down. Notice what's happening in the hips. There begins to become an opening happening in the hips. even by releasing the shoulders. Exhaling the hands down. This time as you inhale the hands up overhead, drop that other hand behind you, taking a hold of that elbow. Woo, might have a spasm in the tricep. Hello. Lengthen up tall, breathe into it. Feel the back of the arm begin to open. Nice deep inhale. Exhale. Lengthen into that left side body. The side of the arm that's holding. Inhaling, drying up. Exhaling, growing tall. Inhaling, hands up. Exhaling, hands down. 3 sun arms. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling, hands together. Palms together at your heart. So rather than into the body, press them, let them be out. So you kind of have this rectangle happening here. Well, sort of. I don't know what that's called. Anyway, elbows up, press the shoulders together. Shoulders are down. Press the elbows together. And then we're going to draw our belly button in. Take a nice deep inhale. And we're going to begin to move at a rhythm of twisting. We're going to go right, center, left, center, right, center, left, center. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. I'm going to do it with you. Remember to hold that belly button in. Knees are down. Going long in the crown. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Arms down, inhaling them all the way up. Exhaling down, building some heat. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Nicely done. We're going to move straight into standing. So if you need to do a cat-cow to get there, that's fine, you can. Move your blanket off the mat. Bring yourself up. My lower body's screaming at me as much as my upper body. Let your feet be hip distance apart and then take them a half a step wider. Okay? So we're going to create some space in the hips. Hands are going to come in front of us and just put your fist, make a fist, put them right on your quads, right here. Soften those knees, engage that core, roll those shoulders back and down. Take a nice deep inhale, long through the crown. And as we exhale, we're going to just go straight forward. Let the fronts of your hands roll, kind of slide down the front of your legs. When you meet resistance, engage your belly button, lengthen through your crown. Inhale, and then exhale, draw up. Did that backwards. Inhale up, exhale down. So we're going to move with this. Belly button comes in, supporting. Inhale up. So this is pretty slow. Exhale down. Knees are soft versus locked. Belly buttons to the spine, tailbone sliding down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Now remember that your inhale and exhale might actually be slower than mine. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. We're going to do 3 more of these. Then we're going to add a pause to it. So this is 1. This is the beginning of 2. Notice how you're beginning to be able to go a little bit lower. And this is the beginning of 3. Notice if you're gripping the mat with your toes, soften them out. Good. Now this time as we lower down, exhale down. When you meet resistance, we're going to pause. Keep breathing, just pause the hold. Now, let's take a look. Lift our toes up, spin our knees out, set the toes down softly, and let your knees spin. Feel that tailbone slide down your back. Yes, smile. So even though you're upside down, you're still smiling. It's easier to smile this way because gravity's pulling your face that way. Breathe into it. Find your breath. And then begin the inhale coming up. Feel that tailbone slide down. Belly button back up. Shoulder blades back and down. Feel those knees spin open. Find the power in pausing at the top. So, I'm hanging on to my glutes. What if I soften my glutes? Oh, okay. Maybe they're soft. They just feel like they're working hard. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, lower back down. Spin those knees open. It's an energetic movement. It's sliding the tailbone down. Feel that tailbone slide down and the belly button back. So you're not leading with your heart. Leading with your nose, you're leading with your heart. But there's still this strength in the low back that supports the hamstrings opening. Inhaling, coming back up. Take a pause for a breath or 2. And exhale, slide that tailbone down, belly button back, begin your curling forward, hinging at the hips. So even though you're tucking that tailbone down, I hate to use the word tuck because it's less of a tuck, it's more of a slide. There you go. Pause. Nice slide. Imagine that I'm putting my hand right on your sacrum and just inviting, yes. Sometimes having that imagination of somebody's hand on your sacrum, inviting you to slide it back, helps to actually do just that. Inhale coming up. It's called proprioception. Growing tall. And then exhaling down. This is the last time we're going down. Nicely done. If you're a block user and you have your blocks, you might want to grab them. Bring them to either side of the mat, however high you want them. I'll wait for you to get set up. Knees are open. Soften the knees and step the left foot back. High lunge. Yes. So let it be a gentle high lunge. You don't have to go. You can even make your blocks super tall if you want. They can be up here. This is called the gentle high lunge. So you don't have to go clear to the floor, okay? But I am going to invite you to draw your knees together as you slide that tailbone down, belly button back. Feel the strength. Breathe into it, okay? Play with your blocks a little bit. See where they support you the most. Breathe into it. 2 more breaths. So those of you who love to work in low lunge, your mind is going to tell you, go to low lunge. You don't need to go to low lunge. You have your blocks to support you. Step your foot forward, coming back up, little wider than hip distance. Not super wide, half a step wider than hip distance. Hands to the front of the legs. Spin those knees up and tailbone down, slide it up. So the idea here is to get you to begin to move, exhaling down and re-engaging that core so you know what it feels like when you come out of your posture into another one. What does it feel like to keep that tailbone sliding down, belly button up to the spine and back. 2 more breaths. Hands onto your block, step that right foot back. Remember, make this lunge as high or as low as you want. Draw the knees together, belly button to the spine, tailbone down, lengthen through the crown. Really allow the body to guide this. The mind is going to push you to a point that is beyond what the body might actually be able to do. And so this is an interesting phenomenon in healing, is that we set up an expectation for ourselves that is maybe unrealistic. Nobody's ever done that, have they? So, nice deep inhale, exhale, 1 more, inhale, exhale, step that right foot forward. Coming back up, a little bit higher than hip distance, or wider than hip distance, hands down, inhaling up, exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down. 1 more time, inhaling up, exhaling down. Hands onto the blocks and step that left foot back halfway. Not into a full lunge, but halfway. Bend the knee, spin that heel down, and then build yourself up into Warrior One. Oh, wasn't that a gentle rising into Warrior One? Now, if you feel super strong in the core and you engage your core and you want to come straight up, that's fine, you can do that. But let's sink down into Warrior One. Little more, little more. Feel those quads begin to work. Or, in my case, not work. I'm wiggling all over the place. Breathe into it. Inhale and open up into Warrior Two. You might be facing away from me. Trust me that I can cue you through this. Okay? Believe in me. I believe in me. Breathe into it. Sink a little lower. Tailbone down. This is about the body leading versus the mind. Smile into that. Sink into that knee. Now, if your quad feels weak, not very strong, come out of it, go into it. 3 breaths. Come out of it, go into it. 3 breaths. Give yourself a break if you need it. Nicely done. 1 more breath. Sink a little lower into that knee. And then inhale, turn those hands back into Warrior One. Facing the front of your mat, or the long end of your mat. And then exhaling back down into this little half high lunge that we've got going in. And step that foot back up, little wider than hip distance. Exhale down. Inhale halfway up, or all the way up rather. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Hands onto your blocks, stepping the right foot halfway back. Drop your heel down. Now remember, when you drop your heel down, you want to kind of spin it open to a 70 to 80 degree angle. Drop it into that knee, build yourself up. Warrior One, here it is. So this is my challenge side, I think. But today, not so much. Today it was actually my right side. I feel stronger in my left side. I'm going to sink a little bit lower. See if you can hold this for 3 breaths before you come out of it, because we're building the quad strength. Belly button to your spine, lifting up, tailbone slide down your body. It makes this lunge easier. and then spin open into warrior two. Here it is. If you need to come out and sink back into it, as you sink back into it, let the knee travel to the little toe. Tailbone slides down your back, belly button lift back and up, breathing into it. Sink a little further. Let that sinking travel to the little toe. It's okay to come out of it if you need to. There's no steadfast rule that says that just because you're in a yoga posture, you can't move. And then spinning back into warrior one and lowering down into high lunge. And then step that right foot to meet the little bit wider than hip distance standing. Hands come down. Now, just take note. Are you a little lower than you were when we started? Isn't that cool how that works? Inhaling all the way up. Exhaling down. Inhaling all the way up. Exhaling down. Inhaling all the way up. Exhaling down. Hands come onto your blocks. I want everybody to take their right foot back. That's everybody except me, because I'm setting you up so you can see me. Drop that heel down, sink forward. We're going to build ourselves up into warrior one, and then we're going to open into two. Hi, everybody. It's awesome when you can see me. So from right here, what we're going to do, I'm going to do this with my arms up, but if you need to do your arms down, you can. Spin your front foot about 70 degrees and your left foot about 70 degrees. Okay, so you kind of got this five-pointed star happening. Now, your legs might actually be too far apart here because of the lunge. Okay, so if they are, walk them in a little bit, like that, and then sink straight down. Hands come onto your knees, just so that you can get this sumo wrestler experience happening. So I want you to put one hand on your tummy and one on your sacrum. Okay? So I'm going to turn around so you can see this. So we've got this sumo wrestler thing happening. And you're going to invite your pelvic to shift. Now see if you can sink a little bit lower. And as you sink lower, let your knees open a little bit wider towards the little toes. Yeah, so there's a little bit of spin happening in the quads as you spin those knees. You're doing great. Up and down. There you go. So the fun thing about this is your hands are no longer on your knees. They're now on your front and your back. Okay? Because what I'm really wanting people to do is to get the sense of that sliding the tailbone down and letting that pelvis drop into a neutral position. We're rarely in neutral position as we move through life. We have forgotten that. Somewhere around the age of 4, we have it beaten out of us. So, yes. So, here we are, okay? Got it? Now, if you feel like your feet are too far apart, bring them in. Wiggle around, okay? Here we are. Hands to the heart, belly button to the spine. Twist, center, twist, center. Just like in the beginning, smiling. Woo! I'm going to fall over. Three more. 2 more. Last one. All the way down, sink all the way down. How far can you go? And then all the way up. Woo! Nicely done. Bring those feet in. Shake them out a little bit. They're probably wiggly. Sometimes doing twists like that will make you dizzy. So if that's happening, if you've kind of got that spinning brain thing going on, that's okay. Take a minute, find your feet a little wider than hip distance. Okay. Come into this kind of soft mountain pose. Spin those knees open. Nicely done. Now step back wide, open those toes, sink down. Again, feel that pelvic tilt, belly button back and up. That makes it easier, doesn't it? Now, hands to the heart, drop out of your shoulders, go through your crown. Okay, we're gonna begin the twisting. I'm gonna just take a walk down a little bit more, down a little bit. There you go, good job. Okay, so I am going to help you because you're working too hard. Yeah, working too hard. There you go. Did you feel that when this went down? Tailbone, you're good. I got you. Go up. Slide that tailbone. Head back over your shoulders. There you go, right there. That's what I was looking for. Woo-wee. 2 more breaths. Here we go. We're going to move. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Find the ease. 2 more. All the way through both sides. Last one. All the way through. Hands down. Spin this side open, whatever side that is for you, and this side back. We're going to sink back into warrior, but then we're going to slide back into dancing warrior. Now, if you're super hot, you can curl your tongue. This is a cooling breath. If you cannot curl your tongue, because some people cannot, you can blow out a candle. Good job. Bend into that knee. Slide across the body. Elbow to your knee. And bring it all the way up and over. Gentle. There you go. Now, what would it feel like to soften that arm against your ear? There you go. Yeah, beautiful. Feel this to be a cooling resting pose, not super deep working, just doing a little lateral opener while we're calming the body down. Inhaling that hand up, coming up, exhaling down. We're not even going to do those again. We're going to just spin around, other way, back into warrior 2. This is where we started. Sink into that knee. Exhale back. The body really is an amazing machine because it will adapt to what you ask it to do. So I've been asking my body to move through life completely dizzy and imbalanced, and it's been doing it. And every time I step on the mat, I realize just how out of balance I am. And there's no judgment in that. It's just an awareness. Exhaling, coming straight through and sliding across the body, elbow to that knee, bringing it all the way up and over. So I got into the candy last night. I love taffy. Peanut butter taffy especially.
Oh, no chocolate chip cookies.
Can you say, woo, inflammation. Inflammation. Sugar creates inflammation. So nobody did that to me. I did that to me. Today is a new day. Ease and flow. Breathe into it. So from right here, we're going to cartwheel all the way around and down to the floor. Okay? So step that knee back. Come into tabletop. That's as pretzely as we get, is coming to the floor. Fingers spread wide, eyes at the elbow together, knees under your hips, lengthen through your crown, shoulders back. Now, remember that little pelvic tilt you gave yourself in that sumo wrestler pose? Do that here in tabletop. Bring that belly button up to your spine, slide that tailbone back, shoulders back, lengthen through the crown. And now let's move with it into cat and cow. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. One more time. Inhale down. And exhale all the way up. And from right here in cat, open the knees wide and sink back in cat. Now, you're not going to sink as far because you're going to find that this begins to stretch all the way from the sacrum to the crown of the head. And then when you reach a point where you're ready to go down, scoop down and drop into child. All the way down. However far down is for you. For me, it's not very far down. Soften into the floor. Nicely done. Inhaling, building yourself back up. Bringing those knees directly underneath your hips, coming up. So this next posture is really going to be two parts. The first part is going to be about your feet lying flat, okay? Some of us are super tight in the front of our calves, so just laying our feet flat is a challenge. Slide down, hand on the front, hand on the back, give that pelvic tilt bowl, and then just lean back slightly. And feel the tops of your feet press into the floor. And then up, and then back, and then up. Now, some of you are going to be able to sit back. I can't do that. So level one right here and up. This is about core control. So feel that belly button lift back and up, sink back, lift forward, sink back, lift forward, sink back, right here. Now, from right here, belly button lifts up, encourage that pelvis to go forward. You're going to feel it in the front of your legs. Okay? Drop to your shoulders. We're headed to camel, but we're doing a supported camel first. Feel those knees, feel those, the tops of your quads. Begin to energetically spin open. Find your breath. Inhaling, coming back up to tall, standing tall. Now hands come down beside you. We're going to deepen this. So you've got your feet flat on the floor. Okay. Toes are pointing, flat on the floor. Inhale that left hand up, circle it around, and let your hand land on your bottom. Okay? Fingers can be facing down, they can be facing up. If you really want a deep opener in the front of your arm, you can let your fingertips go up. Otherwise, fingertips down. Now, the right arm crosses the body, then spins open and lands on the other side of your bottom. Here we are. We're headed to a nice wide heart opener. This is the start. Now, check in. Is my tailbone sliding down? Is my belly button sliding up, back and up? and then sink back. For those of you more advanced, you can grab your heels and really drop in deep. Lengthen through your crown. Breathe into this big heart opener. Looks good at home. Looks good in the room. Sometimes heart openers are about opening your heart to yourself. Holding in to child's pose is opening to your own self. 3 more breaths. Inhaling, coming up. Now wind yourself out of it. Right hand releases, comes up and over across the body. Left hand releases, up and over across the body. Coming all the way down, opening those knees wide, sinking back into child. Sink, 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 sink. Lower down. Oh my heavens, this is a hard pose for me today. Nicely done. Inhaling, coming up, finding your way around onto the floor on your back. No core work today? I guess not. I guess we've been doing core work this whole time. Inhale, lift those legs straight up. As if you're having a block, sit on your feet. Draw those toes down. Lengthen through your heels. Now notice when your feet are together versus when you open your feet a little bit wider, it gives the legs space to lengthen. So rather than our feet being close together, let them be hip distance apart or a little bit wider and lift up. Drop that belly button to the floor. Feel that tailbone slide down. Scoop the shoulders underneath you so you have this flat surface. And if you're rolling around in this position, your core is not engaged. Flatten that back out. 2 more breaths. Now, take your hands, put them behind your quads, below your knees, on the quads, hamstrings actually, and bring them in just a little bit. Now begin to soften the knees, opening the legs wider, and bringing those knees into your armpits, okay? Taking a hold of your feet. Now start with your hand on the ball of your foot and allow the knees to drop into your armpits, and then spin the hands around to the outside of your foot, okay? Close your eyes, smile. We're happy babies. Now, begin to rock side to side in this. So you can keep the core engaged and begin rocking side to side. And what this does is gives your ribs a little massage. So, gives the body a little bit of massage. Make it more dynamic. Get into it. Roll around. Remember how those little babies rock and roll and playing with their feet. We lose that. We lose that ability to grab our feet and just rock around. Woo. See if you can feel, I can feel my kidneys today. That means I must be thirsty. Or my adrenals, because they sit right on top of the kidneys. And then begin to slow down. And see when you soften into this, how much deeper those knees go into the armpits. And my sinuses are draining. So that rocking side to side stimulates the lymphatic system. Inviting the sinuses to drain. Draw those feet together. Coming into supine cobbler, open those knees wide. Soles of your feet can come together. Elbows work to open the knees. And then release those knees into the chest. Take your hands on each knees and begin to do a big circle, like you're drawing a circle around the sacrum. Big circle. And then reverse it the other way. Woo, very nicely done. And then keep that right leg in, lengthen through the left leg. Okay. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, release it out. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, release it out. Exhale, draw it in, and then cross that leg over the body into a twist. So remembering to drop that belly button down. It's easier for me lying on my back to remember to drop my belly button down and lift it up. And then let this twist be as deep as you want it. If you want to open your arm, you want to press through your heel of your left foot. You want to look to the opposite hand. But let this be a softening into a twist rather than I'm twisting and it's killing me. What would it feel like if you just softened into what is? And if what is that your knee is 2 feet off the floor, awesome. That's what is. That's perfect for you today. And on the next inhale, engage that core, bring that leg back out. Open that knee up a little bit, or a lot, whatever your body needs. And then wiggle yourself flat and switch legs. Draw that left knee in, draw it in. Work through that right heel. Exhale that knee out, draw it in. Exhale it out, draw it in. Wind relieving pose. Also kind of, puts an exclamation point on the hamstring like we did today. And then draw that knee in and begin the journey across the body, dropping that belly button down. This is a slow journey. When we go quickly into a twist, it can be jarring to the system. We don't need to jar the system today. Just go as deep as you want. Dropping into it, letting it be what it is. Play with that sliding of the tailbone. Slide it down, belly button in. Sometimes the spine moves when we do that. Inhaling, coming back around, opening that knee wide. Bringing it in and then releasing it down. So take a minute to wiggle flat. Hands come open. Shake the knees out, shake the shoulders, shake the arms, give a big old smile, maybe shake the face. Jiggle it out, just do a little jiggling. And then find where the body is still, but feel the movement on the inside. Feel the energetic movement that happens on the inside after jostling the body. And then begin to notice how you can soften into Shavasana. And there is the invitation of covering up with a blanket if you want one. But it's not necessary if you're warm enough. The air is cool today, so if you want to cover up, please do. And if lying flat isn't good for your back, bring those feet to standing. Drop the knees together. Because the deepest purpose of Shavasana is to completely soften into the earth, allowing Mother Earth to support you. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Now is the time. When things move smoothly, now is the time to get things done. When things move with blocks or haltingly, now is the time to be still. Ease and flow. Halt and wait. Now is the time. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Begin to invite your body back to now. And as you're ready, roll to your side, taking your time. And when you're ready to come back to sitting, hands to your heart, we'll finish today with one Om. So we'll take a nice deep inhale, blow it out, and then we'll inhale to Om. So deep inhale, blow it out. Inhale to Om. Namaste.